आपने अगस्त्या इंटरनेशनल फाउंडेशन से आप खुद भी जुड़े हुए हैं। आप उसके बोर्ड के सदस्य के रूप में। ये जो इसकी कहानी है, बहुत सारे लोग हर तरह का ट्रस्ट बनाते हैं, फाउंडेशन बनाते हैं भारत में। एनजीओज की जो गैर सरकारी संस्थान हैं, स्वयंसेवी संस्थान, उनकी कमी नहीं है। लेकिन अगस्त्या की जब कहानी में इस किताब को पढ़ रहा था तो ये दूसरे फाउंडेशन से अलग है। इसकी बहुत सारी वजहें हैं। मैं चाहूँगा कि जो इसके फाउंडर्स थे उनके बारे में, और आपने जो किताब में भी लिखा है उस बात को डिस्क्राइब किया है, लेकिन संक्षेप में, ताकि लोग जब इस किताब को खरीदें तो उनको एक आइडिया रहे कि मैं किन लोगों के बारे में पढ़ रहा हूँ, जिस फाउंडेशन के बारे में पढ़ रहा हूँ वो क्या है, और हमें क्यों इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहिए। तो मैं चाहूँगा कि जो इसके जो न्यासी थे या जो फाउंडर थे,
हाँ,
उनकी क्या सोच थी और उनसे आप कैसे जुड़े?
ठीक है। सो देयर वर 5 फाउंडर्स एंड उसमें से 2 of them, रामजी एंड महावीर, वर वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स. रामजी वाज वर्किंग इन लंदन एंड वाज वेरी सक्सेसफुल इन लंदन. बट उनका कुछ, he felt कि there was no soul enriching aspect to his work. So at one point he said, okay, I'm done. I want to go back to India and I want to do something for my soul and something that gives back to the country. बहुत साल से he was in New York and London and he'd lived outside for many years. तो उनका जो decision था, it was a very difficult decision because coming back after so many years outside, the work culture was different, the environment was different, things were moving a little slower than he was used to. So वो सब, that all became a challenge for him. Mahavir was already in India and he gave a lot of his space and his time and involved very wholeheartedly with Ramji. The other 3 founders were retired. One was Dr. P.K. Iyengar, who was the former head of the Atomic Energy Commission. And he was eminent scientist. तो उनका बहुत connections थे with the scientific community. So it was very useful for Agastya at that time to have that connection. K.V. Raghavan was Ramji's father, and he was formerly head of ICI and Engineers India Limited. So he had headed very big projects across the infrastructure space. तो उनका सोच था कि what is large scale and how do you build a large scale organization. He already had that vision, that idea. And finally, Dr. Balasundram was the only educationalist. He was the former head of Rishi Valley School, where Ramji had studied. He was Ramji's principal. And as the head of Rishi Valley, where even K.V. Raghavan had studied, he had a very close connection with both Ramji and his father. So as you said, जो background थे इनके कि corporate finance, यहाँ पे numbers are very important. कि अगर कोई किसी का investment किया है, तो that investment has to be justified. Where is the money gone? How is it spent? So from day one, they had this idea that even if we are taking money from the donor, we have to behave like a corporate to give the donor the feedback that, okay, aapne, you've given 1 crore, for example. These are all the pockets that we have invested that money in and spent it in. So the confidence comes from the donor that this is a professional organization. So my connection to Agastya, as you said, was Ramji is my uncle and K.V. Raghavan was my grandfather. And as we were discussing earlier, for me it was an emotional journey because I was a student when Agastya started. And I got to see the entire evolution from nothing. From Ramji being a banker and a very successful banker, someone that I said, okay, I might follow. And when I went abroad, that was the idea that I would also build my life outside India. But then seeing him take that step and saying, no, you should come back and do something, made me also feel, okay, I should come back to India at some point. And so when writing the book came, I said, I've had a very fortunate front row seat. कि यहाँ पे क्या क्या हुआ, I've seen it as like a fly on the wall from the beginning. And so maybe I'm in a good position to describe the story and bring it to life.